are going to do a choral count like we did the other day.
My name is Teresa C., and I teach first grade at Lake Ridge Elementary School in Renton, Washington.
Today, instead of starting at 2, we're going to start a different number. Okay? No, we're actually going to start at, I'm going to say 7.
Today's lesson is all about counting by 10 and counting up to 100 or past 100 by a number other than 10 or by 0. We'll start with the students is doing a choral count.
If I'm counting by 10, what number comes next? Put your thumb on your chest when you think you know what comes next. Turn and tell your neighbor, what number do you think comes next?
7.
The Common Core standards are a part of this lesson because students have to be fluent with numbers. Students have to be able to fluently add and subtract within 20, as well as within 100. This really helps them build that ability, really understanding how numbers work.
What number do you think? Jennifer?
27.
You think 27. Michelle?
17.
Emron? 13. I'm hearing some people say 27, and I'm hearing some people say 17. Someone who said 27, can you defend your answer? Why do you think it was 27?
We're a classroom of kids that love math, and that talking to each other and talking to the teacher and sharing our ideas really builds what we understand, and we can learn from each other.
Right now I see 7. What would come next?
17.
So what do you think comes next?
17.
And then what comes next?
27.
Okay, do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and write that. So ready? 7.
17, 27.
Then they keep going from that point on. And then I will stop them periodically and ask for patterns that they see, anything that they noticed in the count.
After 97, it's 100.
But why did you say 107 then? Because you said 107. Did you notice some pattern that helped you figure that out?
Because it's all 7s.
Because it's all 7s.
By seeing the patterns, the students are able
How many of you agree
to
it's 107?
use the pattern to kind of help them predict what number comes next, as opposed to just counting repeatedly.
I'm having you make a prediction. What number? Tell your neighbor what number do you think goes there and why.
300.
When I have them make predictions, they have to not only tell me what number they think will come, but they also have to explain why.
Come show us what you meant if I take away a 2.
First, if you want to make 327, you take away the 2, then you add a 3.
Oh, so you take away this 2 in the front and you made it a 3 and you just kept the 27. I see.
After that, we'll do a counting collection where the students will count a collection that's less than 100, somehow sorting their collection in a way that makes sense to them, and then figuring out how many is in their collection. And after they have determined how many objects are in their collection, they'll figure out how many more objects they need to get to 100.
How many did you have? You had 75? All right, so now we want to figure out how many more I need to get to 100, right?
One of the practice standards states that a good mathematician makes sense of problems, and in this case, my students are definitely doing that. They have to understand what my question was, and they have to be able to figure out, okay, if Missy is saying, figure out how many more to 100, what does she actually mean by that? Not just let me do some task or do, follow some set of steps to figure out some answer.
How come you put 10 in a cup?
Because it's more efficient.
More efficient? More efficient than what?
30, 40.
Okay. So
They've had multiple opportunities to count, but we've never counted and then added an extra step of having them figure out how many to 100. And so I was excited for the challenge and knew my kids would be ready for it.
all right, boys and girls, you did some amazing counting and some amazing thinking. I'm going to have a couple people come up and share some of their thinking with us.
I always try to make sure that after we've done something that we share out what the kids have learned. It's not always beneficial to listen to the teacher talk, and they don't always learn from you, but when another student says perhaps the same thing that you said, sometimes it's amazing what they learn from each other.
We got hundreds taught, and then I counted all the way to 100, and then we need 25.
Cavell, did you do the same thing or did you do something different?
I did not use a 100 chart.
You did not use a 100 chart. How did you figure out 25?
Did circles.
Can you show the class your circles? So, did you draw 25 circles because you knew you already had 75? And then you drew circles how many more you needed? Did you see how he did that?
I feel like the Common Core is really suggesting that kids can do more than what we've thought they can before. It's much more rigorous, and it's made me push myself. It's made me kind of go back and rethink how I do things. It's made me realize that my expectations in the past were a little lower than where they should be, because my first graders can do a whole lot more than I thought they could in the past.
Jennifer used a 100 chart. She counted on. Rukaya and Evelyn put their things on a 100 chart and they counted the empty spaces.
They did very well today. I'm really impressed. It was very exciting to see how they just latched onto it and they really got it.
Turn to another neighbor and say, nice counting.
Nice counting!
Turn to another neighbor and say, good hard work.
Good